I can turn into a fish. Chapter 6, Remolding the Goldfish. To remold, I first have to control the fish. Chu Xian willed it, and suddenly he gained an omnipresent view of a 4-meter radius around him, in addition to control over the goldfish in the fish tank. Little goldfish, level 2. Combat power, 0. Passive talent, none. Remold. Chu Xian said in his mind, and suddenly the cell phone screen in his brain showed a 3-dimensional image of the little goldfish. Cluster all the red in one spot. Commanded Chu Xian, and all the red on the goldfish's body clustered on its belly. Grow the tail a little, Chu Xian commanded again, and the little goldfish's tail grew rapidly. Turn the red into black. Chu Xian commanded once again, but the result made him frown. The red was still red. After some testing, Chu Xian finally discovered the limits to remolding. Big fish eat little fish system's remolding ability could arbitrarily change the shape of a fish or cluster and remove color, but it couldn't turn white into black or black into red. Basically, remolding used the existing fish as the base and couldn't create something out of nothing. It's fine, even this is enough. Chu Xian said excitedly. While referencing a picture on the internet, he began remolding the little goldfish. Remolding was just like designing and creating, and the prospect excited Chu Xian a lot. After about 5 minutes, the screen in his brain showed a cute and beautiful fish, and as Chu Xian compared the fish to the model, he realized it wasn't one bit worse than the one on the computer. It might have even been a little better. All natural goldfish have slight flaws, but his goldfish was different. It was perfect and flawless as if it was photoshopped. After remolding in his mind, Chu Xian said remold in his heart, and suddenly the goldfish in the tank underwent earth-shattering changes. The goldfish now had a pure, snow-white body with neatly arranged rows of scales, a pure white head, beautiful red circles around the mouth and eyes, and an incredibly beautiful tail, as if it were a mermaid with red makeup. After Chu Xian molded it, the goldfish had a long, red tail that fanned out behind it like silk with 2 red ventral fins decorating its belly. It really was an incredibly beautiful, perfect work of art. Amazing. Unbelievable. Chu Xian's eyes shone as he stared at this goldfish which had successfully transformed into a Danfeng goldfish. It's too bad it's so small, or else it would be worth a couple hundred, or even a couple thousand. Remolding downgraded the fish, so the 12 cm goldfish was now only 6 or 7 centimeters. However, this problem could be easily overcome. He could just remold larger fish. As he looked at this perfect Danfeng goldfish, Chu Xian immediately reached for all the other goldfish in the tank. This pure black goldfish can definitely be remolded into a panda goldfish or crown pearl goldfish. This red and black one can become a Zhusha bubble-eyed goldfish or 12 red one. Chu Xian looked at the 9 goldfish in front of him and his eyes filled with dollar signs, greedy face. Unable to control his excitement, he quickly started to mold each of them one by one. Ha 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 ha. I made it. I hit the jackpot. I'm going to be rich. Chu Xian shouted and laughed 20 minutes later with the beautiful goldfish swimming gracefully in front of him. Each and every one of the 10 fish in the tank was a piece of art, and though he didn't know the exact value, he knew they weren't going to be cheap just judging by their shape and color. In an extremely good mood, Chu Xian sent Xiaoying a WeChat message saying, "Babe, good night. XOXO. When she received the message, Xiaoying laughed and hugged her phone. Early the next morning, Chu Xian woke up and immediately checked on the goldfish in the tank. They were all lively and healthy. This was another merit of remolding. Even though the remolded goldfish were now just as beautiful as luxury goldfish, they were still normal goldfish inside with the robustness of normal goldfish. Chu Xian fed them some food, packed them up, and rode his moped to the fish market. He rode all the way to the Yubao yard at the center of the market. Holding the tank full of hope and expectations, he walked into the ornamental fish shop. "Yo little brother, you're back again?" The shop owner greeted him curiously. Yeah boss, I'm here for your help. Chu Xian nodded and approached him excitedly. Putting down the tank, he said, please take a look and see how much these goldfish are worth. Oh. The shop owner looked inquisitively at Chu Xian and suppressing a chuckle, looked down at the fish. This. The shop owner jumped up. Leaning closer to the tank, he said, these are panda, 12 red, Zhusha bubble eyes, and crown pearl goldfish. Chu Xian was happy about the shop owner's reaction and hurriedly replied, yes, I bought these from one of my friends for 5,000 RMB. Zzz. The shop owner clicked his tongue and ignored Chu Xian. He bent over and pressed his face against the side of the tank. He looked intensely, scrutinizing the fish with his eyes. Clicking his tongue again, he said, top grade top grade. Look at the colors, the shapes. Beautiful. The shop owner admired them for over a minute and finally raised his head and said with some jealousy, little brother really struck gold. Then boss, what are they worth? Chu Xian hurriedly asked. I still need to examine them more closely, all your fish are precious varieties. Each of them should be worth more than 2,000 RMB. Do you mind if I take them out to measure? The shop owner replied. I don't mind, of course I don't mind. Chu Xian replied with a nod. When he heard that each fish was worth 2,000, his eyes gained a burning intensity. The shopkeeper affirmed with a light grunt and took out a special transparent net. He gently scooped up one of the goldfish. Upon closer examination, he murmured, this goldfish has already matured, but it's a little small. Chu Xian's heart thumped nervously. Even though the small size will influence the value, these goldfish are the rarest kinds, so the small size won't matter much. This panda goldfish is worth 2,000, and if the buyer likes it a lot, even 3,000 is possible. 3,000? Chu Xian said excitedly. Does that mean that these fish altogether can be sold for 20,000? That's no problem, haha. Little bro, you hit the jackpot this time. The shop owner said while laughing. How about you sell them to me? I can give you 20,000. Chu Xian's eyes flashed with excitement and immediately said, of course. Of course, I'll sell to you. Haha, that's great. I can transfer the payment to your WeChat account, the shop owner said happily. Okay, Chu Xian affirmed happily with a nod before hesitantly asking, boss, if I can get more of these types of goldfish, do you want them? More. The shop owner replied dazedly. Not knowing whether to laugh or cry, he said, little bro, it really isn't that simple. I can buy at most 10 of these every 1 to 2 months. They're not easy to sell if there are too many. Goldfish are small ornamental fish after all and aren't as popular as the large ones. Chu Xian was a little disappointed. Nodding his head, he said, that's fine then. Thanks a lot, boss. There's no need to thank me, and don't call me boss this boss that. From now on just call me Old Wang 5 or Brother 5, that's what my friends call me. Haha, don't forget me when you get your hands on some large ornamental fish in the future. Old Wang 5 said with a big laugh. Old Wang 5? Chu Xian dazedly replied. Yesterday they had spoken for half an hour and the shopkeeper hadn't told him his name, but today after Chu Xian brought in these fish, he was finally noticed and acknowledged properly. Of course, Brother 5. My friend is out of the country, but he has many connections. He'll probably be able to get his hands on some more precious ornamental fish. Haha, that's great. That's great. In the future, if you sell to me, I promise you a reasonable price. Old Wang 5 said happily.